when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning,
Good morning and welcome to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. It is Tuesday, the 10th day of June, and the rains have begun. Yes, it's June 10th, 2025, and I am Adana Kombi. We're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago, and of course, this is one of the days that the Lord has made, so we will rejoice and be glad in it.
Good morning, and I am Akinla Beholder. And Adana, as you said, it's raining, it's pouring outside, but I know our family and our friends out there viewing on the Tobago Updates, they are up and they have their cup of tea, their cup of coffee, and they're ready to engage in discussions with us this morning.
That's right, and this is a perfect morning for some tea, coffee, hot chocolate or something.
Yes.
You know, it's so cozy this morning when I was getting ready and I'm thinking, ooh, get back in that bed or go and speak with our viewers this morning. And of course, I chose to be here with our viewers this morning because it's always a privilege, it's always an honor to be here having conversations with you. And we're so happy that you've tuned into us this morning, whether rain or sunshine.
Yes.
You know, our viewers choose us, and we really, really do appreciate you this morning. We have a lovely show lined up for you this morning, and we do hope that you could stay throughout for the entire conversation. But before we get into those conversations, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. On June 23rd, THA Finance Secretary Pretel Ann Roberts will present Tobago's 2025-2026 budget. In the previous fiscal year, the THA received $2.599 billion, less than the $3.956 billion they requested. Roberts outlined her vision for Tobago's economic future and is advocating for the island to receive a minimum of 5.1% of the national budget. She also recommended that Tobago assume control of the long-stalled IMS project and highlighted ongoing delays in the island receiving its funding, often well after the national budget is presented. Up next, in response to growing concerns over TRHA ambulance procurement, THA Minority Leader Kelvon Morris is calling on Tobagonians to join a protest today outside the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, demanding the resignation of Secretary Dr. Faith Brebner. The call follows controversy over Tobago Regional Health Authority's procurement of 12 ambulances, of which only 4 have arrived and 1 reportedly failing during use. Morris claims that the vehicles are unsuitable for Tobago's terrain and will not approved models. He has called for an investigation citing a lack of transparency and accountability and has sent letters to the Anti-Corruption Investigation Bureau and Acting Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin. And finally, Venezuelan Ambassador Alvaro Sanchez Cordero and the TNT Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Sean Sobers met yesterday to address a range of bilateral matters. Their discussion include a recent issue that has caused diplomatic tensions between Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela. While the specifics were not disclosed, the talks focus on mutual concerns and reaffirm the importance of diplomatic dialogue. Sobers reiterated a request for information from Venezuela following its claim that terrorists entered its territory from Trinidad. Both sides agreed to maintain open channels to ensure transparent information sharing and avoid escalating tensions through public rhetoric or accusations. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Biana, for our news there in 90 seconds. A wet morning this morning, Biana, but of course we came out on duty this morning to speak to our viewers. And you know, one of the things that I wanted to highlight this morning is the 100-man march that was initiated by the minority leader.
Yes.
I know it was to have happened last Friday, but he went to Trinidad on the same matter, which is the instance of the ambulances that were bought by the TRHA. You know, and so we still have that situation. I don't know if there's any investigation. I don't know what is happening. I know there was a press conference last week and I know that people are still trying to get information. So the call is for the secretary, who is Dr. Faith Brebner, to go. That's what his march is entitled. Dr. Faith must go.
Yes.
I don't know if that is the approach that we need to take. I don't know. I'm not saying it is right or it is wrong. But I feel as if a thorough investigation should be conducted to ensure that the procurement process was followed, that what was agreed to in terms of contractual arrangements and obligations, were met. And if they were not met, what are the actions that the TRH will be taking against the company who supplied the ambulances in that regard. So I'm just, waiting to see how that unfolds. Where that is concerned.
Yes, I know that from Mr. Morris's perspective and the perspective of the People's National Movement is that they don't think that sufficient, because the TRH had announced an investigation into the matter, but they don't think that the TRH investigating themselves is an investigation of merit or an investigation that will hold up to the scrutinies of critique. And as such, they want an outside authority to investigate the entire issue, the entire process of acquiring those ambulances. So I think all these strategies, because if I'm not mistaken, I think that he went down to Trinidad to submit papers for an investigation to take place. Either I think it's from the Integrity Commission or something like that.
No, the Anti-Corruption Investigation.
The Anti-Corruption Unit, right.
And the Commissioner of Police.
Okay. So you see, they're really pushing for an independent body to conduct the investigation into the matter. And I think that the march today also is just a bit of piling on pressure on those that have the responsibility to really investigate this matter and to keep the issue in the public space, to keep it alive in the public space so that we can have clarity on what really took place.
I want to ask this question, guys. As you said in the end there, Akinlabi, to keep it in the public space, in the public domain. Sometimes we have incidences like this happening, and what we call in Tobago here 9 days, it lasts for 9 days, and then after that it dies down. And you tend to wonder how often do we pay attention to what is happening in terms of the outcomes, because the investigation is going to be launched, and Mr. Morris now has called for an external agency to do the investigation, which is the way it should be done anyway. Yes. Do we follow up? Do we follow through? Do we hold on? Do we remain silent until the investigation is done, or do we keep the issue in the air so that the people can really understand where we are and the urgencies of the situations that we are faced with? Sometimes I feel as if when these things happen after 9 days, it just boils back down and we just wait, and then 3 years down the line you hear the results of the investigation. So I'm really hoping that matters, not just this matter, but this is one of those matters, that they remain in the public space and that people of course let them
get regular updates.
That's correct. That's correct. Yes. Because it is a very serious situation. If the accusations are in fact correct, it is a very, very serious situation. So we really need to know what is happening there and keep it in the fore for the rest of the period until a thorough investigation is conducted and there are outcomes where that is concerned. All right, Biana, it's a wet morning today, and I do hope that's right. And we will take them. We will take them because we know that our dry season was very, very, very dry, and very hot. And I'm hoping that the rains will help with the dust, because the dust is a thick blanket of dust out there. And for me, persons like me who have the
breathing problem,
the sinus, that sinus issue. I am hoping that the rains can kind of pat it down a little bit, and I know the young people say they want some dust, but I don't think it's this dust they're talking about. The new young people lingo. But hopefully the rain will help us with that. And I welcome the rains because it was hot and dry, and we do need it as well for our reserves and reservoirs and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that we get some good rainfall this rainy season.
And while we do welcome the rain, persons on the Nation Road, you have to be cautious.
Yes.
That's right. And I'm happy you brought that up, Biana, because yesterday evening I was driving with my son and my niece. And while I was driving, he was like, "Why are you driving so slow, mommy?" And I said to myself, because the road is wet. And if you look at all the other drivers, they too are driving very slow because the road is wet. So a very, very, very good plug there, Biana, to ensure that we drive safely on the Nations with no overtaking. If you're late, you're late. I prefer to be late than to be the late. So let's take our times on the Nations roads and consider each each other as well. All right, have a wonderful day, Biana. I do hope that, whatever you plan to do today, that you see the rewards thereafter. So have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Same to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the morning where we celebrate with those who are celebrating. It's time for our birthday shout-outs. And of course, we here at Tobago Updates Television, we love a good celebration, and we love to see when our viewers have that brilliant smile on their face. And this is Shanella Wilkinson Blake. And Shanella, to me, Shanella always smiling. Every time I see Shanella, she is smiling. So I want to say happy birthday to you, and I pray God's blessings upon your life. And I hope you have a wonderful day today. Rain, sunshine, snow, blizzard, whatever it is, have a wonderful day today.
And we continue, we say happy birthday to Miss Lynette Louis. Happy birthday to you, Miss Louis. Wish you God's greatest blessings on your life. And we wish that even though it's raining, like my co-host said, even though it's raining, you would have a very active and special celebration today, giving God thanks and praise for seeing you through another year. Happy birthday.
All right, and happy birthday also goes out to Tanisha Stewart. Tanisha Stewart is celebrating a birthday today, and we say happy birthday to you. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday today. So happy birthday to you as well. And of course, to all our viewers, we do say happy birthday to you, and we pray God's blessings upon your life. And we do hope that even though we don't have your photographs, whatever you are celebrating today, we pray that you remember to put God first in your celebration, because He is the sole reason why there's even anything for you to celebrate. And this morning, I want to say a special good morning to a beautiful young lady. I met her yesterday in the supermarket. Her name is Dafina, and she goes to the Signal Hill Government Primary School. Special good morning to you, little Dafina, so brave and courageous. She came up to me and she said, "Are you the lady from the morning show?" She actually remembers the name of the show. So a special good morning to you, Dafina, and I do hope that you have a wonderful day today, and that you are able to pay attention in school. I believe you pay attention in school and that you focus quite well. So have an amazing, amazing day today, Dafina. I think we have a photograph here of a fallen tree somewhere in Glamorgan. If we can show it, a fallen tree in Glamorgan. And of course, we want you guys to pay attention on the nation's roads this morning. There are agencies like TEMA who you can call, CERT. You can call to remove these debris. And again, another call for our pedestrians to be not pedestrians, both pedestrians and drivers, in fact, to be safe on our nation's roads. Drivers who want to get to where they want to get to, also pay regard to the people who are actually walking, the pedestrians who are on the streets as well. All the road users, we want to ensure that there's a safe space for everybody to traverse to get to where they need to get to, and ensure safety today. And if you see somebody walking and you have some space in your vehicle, today is a good day to give them a lift to where they want to get to as far as you are going, so that they wouldn't have to bear this adverse weather this morning. All right, Akilabi, who are we having conversations with this morning?
Okay, Adana. So this morning we're having conversations with Mr. Jason Batiste, who is the General Manager of Retail and Business at the JMMB. And they're going to be talking about the new Tobago branch launch. That's right, JMMB has a new branch in Tobago. We're also going to be talking to Lion Claire Davidson Williams, who is the President, and Lion Aldina Salandi, who is the membership chairperson, and they're going to be talking about an outreach fair for the Lions Club. And finally, we're going to have in studio with us Miss Raynald Clark, and she's going to be talking about the Diocesan Family Day. That's the Anglican Diocesan Family Day.
All right, sounds pretty good to me, and I do hope, viewers, that you can stay tuned for the entire programming this morning. And I hope you have your cup of tea or coffee or hot chocolate, whatever you are drinking this morning. I hope you have it close by to keep you nice and cozy as you sit in, whether you are getting ready for work this morning, if you're already on your way, whatever you are doing, we say thank you so much for choosing us this morning. And as we go for a break, before we start our conversations, we invite you to help us.
Share the live, share the live, share the live.
chance to lock in the brunch experience of the summer. Sun Up.
Real bad girl get nasty.
The brunch inclusive edition, the ultimate party in the East, where vibrant flavors, refreshing cocktails, and electrifying vibes collide. It's happening on Saturday, July 5th from 3 p.m. at Deltec Compound, Argyle. Bring your coolers, bring your crew, and brunch, sip, and vibe in style. This is the flavorful escape you've been waiting for. Grab your tickets now at Barcode, Pablo Supermarket, Lost Restaurant and Lounge, Deltec Compound, and committee members. Sun Up. It's more than a brunch. It's an experience.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme.
Well, I want a proper window for me house, yeah? I want no shake thing in my place.
Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces.
We get one wall on the side and we get one hole. You can put a window there, invent something, a window for put there.
At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style.
Well, me meet ya. Me don't know who I'm talking to, but my children, cousin Tufina tell me, for call all you go get proper thing for put there. Me don't know.
Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business.
Driven? No, I ain't driving. I get a bus ticket. One of me pick me them go drop me down there. Must bring me down there. Russo Trace Springer down by the place down there.
Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products, it's about relationships. It's about you.
It's all about me? Who's your family? You know Edna and Dorka and them, you know them, but you resemble them Edward boy and them Edward people them you.
Tobago Glass Supplies, Russo Trace Spring Garden, telephone number 639-6266. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We begin conversations this morning in studio and we speak with Mr. Jason Batiste. He is the General Manager of Retail and Business at the JMMB Bank. And of course, we're talking about the new Tobago branch launch. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Adana. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
Of course, a pleasure having you here this morning. And you know, JMMB is relatively new to Tobago in terms of hearing the name. I remember hearing the name for the first time about a year, possibly 2 years ago. And, you know, I was a little bit curious. This is a new bank. I wanted to know about the setup of the bank. And it was just in this nice, cozy area in Scarborough. They're just opposite the port.
Yes.
You know, so I just want to go through a little bit about JMMB before we get into the actual launch of the new branch here in Tobago. So if you could give me a little overview of who JMMB is.
Yeah, so JMMB is a full group that provides financial solutions. So we have 3 different entities operating in Trinidad and across the region. JMMB Express Finance, which I think a lot of people in Tobago are familiar with right here in Scarborough. That's focused on unsecured financing opportunities for clients. We have JMMB Investments, which is how we started, the opportunity for everyone to grow, to accumulate wealth. And we also have JMMB Bank. We've been in Trinidad for more than 15 years. We started off with an arrangement with Intercommercial Bank and then took over the bank entirely more than 10 years ago. So we're really proud about that. And a little bit about JMMB. It started off with a vision of a woman, Joan Duncan, an entrepreneur who believed in the opportunity for everybody. And so what she created was an opportunity for everyone to be able to invest into mutual funds, into investment opportunities. Before that, you had to have a sizable amount of money to be able to do that. And so that was a huge success. The company went public. Unfortunately, she passed away, but her children still lead that growth and that vision of smaller than the studio is where she started, to be able to grow a business where we operate out of Barbados, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, and Trinidad and Tobago.
That's a very, very nice and intimate sort of connection to the bank. You know, everything starts with a vision.
Yes.
And to have a vision that is as selfless as that,
Yes.
because, I mean, she could have just collected her wealth
Correct.
and moved on. So providing this opportunity. So I must, you know, give respect there for that.
She had no wealth. She had 5 kids. At a point in time, she's living in a part of Jamaica with no electricity, but what she had was vision. So what we journey on that is everyone starts somewhere, and we are very passionate about SME, about that small medium business, because we were a small business.
Right. And I like small businesses sort of evolving and
Correct.
of course giving opportunities to other people as well. So I want to know a little bit about the features of the bank itself and the services that people can engage in. You spoke about the express, you spoke about the investment, and you spoke about the bank.
Yes.
So kind of talk us through the services.
Sure. So come Monday, June 16th, we'll be opening our 6th location in Trinidad and Tobago, so this will be our first full bank location where we'll be able to provide all the services that we provide in Trinidad. We have Tobago clients who have been coming to Trinidad to do banking services. And this is an opportunity for us to offer checking accounts, loans, corporate, small business, Visa business debit card, Visa debit card. And we believe, based on the feedback, that we have approached the market and been successful in our vision and in our passion about helping clients get better.
And you know, you're talking about small business SME. I want to talk a little bit about business solutions in terms of providing that measure of support for persons who want to get into business itself.
So 2 things I would mention. We have been doing, for many years, we have a resource center for businesses. You don't pay anything. We simply provide the support to businesses, whether or not it's your financials, education, literacy within that sector. We are very proud last year to launch a Visa business debit card, right? And the Visa business debit card, if you look at about, it provides the opportunity for that client to go to an ATM and make their deposits via check or via cash. So because businesses are busy in the day, you're an entrepreneur, you don't want to take 3 hours or 2 hours a day to go down to the bank, get. And so with that, they can come anytime. And make those deposits via an ATM, and then they can also make payments via the Visa. So therefore, you know, people talk about trying to figure out how much I'm making in my personal account and transferring money from my business account to my personal account to use a card to pay for a solution. We've provided that, and you know, with a credit card, you have to go through, you know, an application and adjudication. This is actually something you can get walking into the bank, and we've gotten a great reception from that. And even for the card provides about $250 US monthly, so that clients who just need to be able to do some of their
that was going to be my next question about US dollars.
IT
So I like
subscription. So we've gotten quite a number of people who have come to us because, you know, we remain having a Visa card with some US in a very, very tight space. But we continue to see that how it evolves. But again, for your Netflix, for your Amazon, you know, you can manage with some of those expenses, and that's been our approach. That's been our approach to the target market across Trinidad and Tobago. And I said we're very, very excited about the Tobago opportunity.
And what is the reception like in terms of well, at least in Trinidad? And I know you said you have some Tobago customers who I'm sure pretty excited that the branch is being opened here. What has been the reception in terms of people? As I mentioned before, GMMB is new to me in Tobago for the past 2 or so years, and people are a little bit apprehensive. So, but what has been the response?
You're driven by an organization where the people drive it. We take our feedback very, very seriously, and we've been very, very proud of the feedback, of the reception of clients, because we try to work through solutions, right? We try to identify needs. We look at our 100% financing for cars. We have a campaign that says we'll do 100% financing no matter the age. Because it's important, looking at the rain outside, a car is not simply just a car. It is getting your kids to school, it is providing safety and security, and how can we make that possible for everybody? And we've spent quite some time looking at those type of opportunities.
And in terms of corporate and social responsibility, how do you build that kind of trust and community, that kind of community spirit?
So we before, when we were thinking about the branch, among our team, we came up with an idea to invite a competition for Tobago students to do art, commission art, have a competition, and their artwork is going to be on the walls of the branch. Very, very excited, was amazed by the talent that we saw. We initially were thinking that we'd do the top 3 prizes. When we moved to the top 6.
Wow.
And we'll be inviting those students. We had a special ceremony for them a few weeks ago, but we will be inviting those students as well, opening an account, putting a contribution in it, because we really, really appreciate the quality and the talent that we saw, and we hope to continue this. We hope to continue this annually, where that connection, and this is just one part of how we have operated with JMMB.
It sounds very, very exciting. In terms of becoming a member of the bank, walk us through what the requirements are.
Well, in terms of opening accounts, it is going to be 2 forms of ID, a utility bill. And again, we're going to be able to work with clients, understanding their income. Are you self-employed? Do you have a job letter? But our goal here is to listen. Our goal here is to be able to serve the people of Tobago in a way that they feel positive and receptive. And as I said, I've been here for the last week, and the signage is up. And we have people knocking on the door, or pushing the door to be able to say, when are you going to be open? So we see that as a very, very, very positive sign.
And remind us again when the opening is and where the new branch is located.
So it's going to be Monday, June 16th, opening at 9 a.m. at the Gulf City Mall in Lowlands. So very, very excited by that.
Right. And what in terms of the opening, is there going to be a opening ceremony taking place, or is it just going to be open for business on that?
Well, we will be doing a ribbon cutting with the members of the Tobago House of Assembly has graciously accepted to do a ribbon cutting that we will do later on this week, and we will have some excitement. Look out for it. We'll have some excitement, and this is we opened a location last year. This is our next location, and when we open our location, you'll know that we have opened. So.
And you know, the expansion, like coming into Tobago, having branches in Trinidad, been there for 15 years across the Caribbean, and entering into Tobago with a full branch. What does it mean? What does this expansion mean? What can people look forward to with JMMB?
Yeah, I believe the expansion shows that we view very positively the opportunity of growth within Tobago. And we believe that we can be able to, if the client grows, because we don't see the customer, we see the client. If the client grows, then we grow. Right? And so that's the way. If the client doesn't do well, then we don't do well. So it's in our interest for us to grow with our clients, and that will be the opportunity we're looking at. And I see many sectors that have opportunity for us to JMMB to come in and support.
Right. And also for potential clients wanting to do their research before they come down to the opening, where can they find information?
You can go to our website, jmmb.com, and Trinidad and Tobago will come up, and you can see all the information about us. We have a strong social media presence as well, and you'll see some of the things that clients have said about us. Our Facebook page, again, when we announced the branch, if you look at the comments under that post, there was a lot that said finally. So we take that as a good sign.
All right. And of course, we here at Tobago Updates Television, we wish you the absolute best.
Thank you. I hope to see you at the launch as well.
We will be present, and we of course wish you the best. Viewers, the new branch, Tobago branch, full banking service of the JMMB will be opened on Monday, 16th June from 9 a.m. down at the Lowlands Mall. So you want to go down there and see what is taking place. If I'm not mistaken, it's right where
next door to Movie Town.
Next door to Movie Town, correct. In that space there, right next door to Movie Town. Easily accessible. Just pull up in the car park and walk straight across to the bank to get your banking services done. Even if you want to get information, they'll be there to help you, to assist you, and to guide you through the process to become a member if you are not yet a member. And for those of you who are already, as Jason said, clients, then of course, banking has become easier for you right here on the island of Tobago. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show. Yes, we are back in studio here today, and we have in studio with us Mrs. Claire Davidson Williams, who is the president of the Lions Club here in Tobago. Yes, and she will be talking to us about their outreach fair. But before we do that, we go to our photo of the day. Yes, our photo of the day, and it will be coming up right now. And this photo was sent in by Sergeant Emmanuel York. Yes, Sergeant Emmanuel York. Can you tell us where in Tobago this photo is located? Tell us where in Tobago this photo is located. Give us the answers in our Facebook live chat and on our YouTube channel. Yes, and we will reveal the answer at the end of the program. That is our photo of the day. Okay, so as stated earlier, we are here with Lion Claire Davidson Williams, who is the president of the Lions Club in Tobago, and she is here to speak about the Lions Club Outreach Fair. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you. Thanks for inviting us.
So first things first, persons might be wondering, what is the Lions Club?
The Lions Club is one of the world's largest service organization. We belong to Lions International, and Scarborough Upper Lions is part of District 60A. We're in the Caribbean. We have District 60, a multiple district that covers the entire Caribbean, and A refers to Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname, and Guyana. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have 24 clubs, of course, yes. The only one in Tobago, the Scarborough Upper Lions Club.
Okay, and just give us a history of how the Lions Club started and the genesis of the Lions Club in Tobago as well.
The Lions Club, Scarborough Upper Lions Club, started by a group of 33 women in December 14th, 1994. And their mission was to take responsibility for voluntary service and provide assistance to the needy in the community here in Tobago. And we've been doing that since. And this year, well, last year, we celebrated 30 years in December, right, which is a great milestone for us. I only joined like in 2006. I came in and started working. And it really has been a rewarding experience here in Tobago.
So tell us about this outreach fair. What is it? What persons expect? What is the Lions Club trying to do?
Okay. For our outreach, we're trying to impact persons in Tobago to actually showcase and bring awareness of Scarborough Upper Lions Club. Sometimes we think we are the best kept secret. So this year, during this term, we tried to bring awareness of the club. I mean, those that benefit from our service, they know that we exist, but the wider population may sometimes forget or not know. So we arranged this outreach program, one, to bring awareness, to encourage persons to join Lions, like yourself, to join our Lions Club. And in doing that, we're going to provide additional services. We're going to have a doctor on board to provide some medical counseling. We're going to have the body mass index, cholesterol testing, and so on. And we're proud to have an attorney on board with us this time around, yes, who would be answering some of our needed questions on wills, change of names, contracts. And she has partnered with us to do that. So you have those services. And it would be on June 14th, yes, here at the Port Mall. And it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So we're inviting all persons to come on down to benefit from our free service, come on down to decide, yes, I'm going to be part of this group, I'm going to help serve Tobago.
Okay, and for those persons that may not be familiar with the work of the Lions Club over the years, can you just tell us some of the initiatives and projects that the Lions Club has engaged in the past?
Yes. We serve under the International Lions Club Global Causes, and we focus on those pillars of vision, childhood cancer, diabetes, hunger, humanitarian service, environment, and did I say vision? This year, there may be a new cause, which is mental health, because it's recognized that mental health is becoming a challenge for us. And therefore, those are the causes that we focus on. And therefore, over the years, we've looked at those causes and done different projects under these areas. So, for example, youth. One of our notable projects would be our play park at the Palatuvier Government School. We did the play park for them, where you have swing and slide, so that avoid them playing on the beach. You have a nice grassy area, so we provided that for them. This year, our major initiative was at the St. Patrick's Anglican School, where we refurbished their kitchen garden, and we did that in collaboration with the Division of Agriculture. We did the kitchen garden, we did a positive sign mural for them so that they would see that. Well, the play park, we did it in collaboration with the Division of Community Development and Culture. And vision. This year and over the years, we have a journey for sight because, you know, we follow Helen Keller, who says, challenge Lions to be Knights of the Blind. And therefore, vision is one of our key projects in our service. And therefore, we do vision screening for children at the primary level and at secondary as well. So we did that vision screening, and we usually do that now in collaboration with Value Optical, where we go in and check the sight, check how they could read the distance from on the board and how well they do. And if they need additional help, additional counseling, if they need additional work to improve the sight, then they go to the office and they're discounted for that additional service, and the club assist as well with the additional cost. So those are some of the main things that we do.
Now, I know that NGOs sometimes struggle in terms of getting membership. And I believe it was last week, the Kiwanis Club was in the same studio and they discussed having some challenges in terms of recruiting, particularly men into the club. Is that any bit of a challenge as well for the Lions Club?
Certainly that is a challenge. So here am I recruiting you today, okay? Encouraging you to join our club. But men, it has been a challenge for us over the years. We've had men in our club, they come and go. But keeping their attention has always been that challenge. How do we maintain their focus and attention? Because they may come, they will do certain projects with us, but in terms of staying the course, that's always a challenge, particularly for us here in Tobago. When you look at our clubs in Trinidad or Suriname or throughout the Caribbean, there are a lot of men in the clubs. But I guess for us, because we started as a women's club, we took over from a previous gentleman's club men who started the club, and they would have hand that charter over to us. The wives then, they took that challenge. Those 33 women who I told you started in 94. They took charge and started. So it kind of gave the image over the years as it's a women's only. Right. So now we're really trying to attract men and youths to join the club. The more hands, the more to serve. And that's what we do, serve.
All right. So before we wrap up the interview, just give us one last time the information concerning the outreach fair, what persons can expect, the time, the location, that kind of thing.
Okay. So our outreach fair will be at the Port Mall on June 14th at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have a number of services free for you, medical, legal services, your lifestyle numbers, and of course, information about Lionism. That's the key for us on that day. Information about Lionism. Come and see how you can volunteer in a structured way, do projects, meet community needs, and also have fun while doing that, and sometimes travel.
All right, thank you very much. Lion Claire Davidson Williams, who is the president of the Lions Club of Upper Scarborough.
Scarborough Upper Lions Club.
Of the Scarborough Upper Lions Club. They have their outreach fair this Saturday 14th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here at the Port Mall. So come out, see what they're about, get your medical tests done, your sugar, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, that kind of thing. Check about your health, see your numbers, know your numbers, and also join the Lions Club. You know, they're doing a lot of giving back to Tobago, and sometimes we want to give back ourselves and we don't know exactly how to do that. Well, the Lions Club is opening a door for you. So thank you very much for being in studio with us today, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much, and thank you to your audience, and hope to see the whole of Tobago joining us on Saturday.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going for a break, and when we come back on the other end, we will wrap up our interviews with Miss Raina Clark, who will be talking about the Diocesan Family Day. That's the Anglican Diocesan Family Day. But do us a favor as we go for this break. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We will be right back after these messages.
Tobago. This Labor Day, June 19th, API Music and Timeless Vibes Promotions kicks off Tobago Jazz Music and Golf Weekend 2025 with Plymouth Love, featuring Jazz at Dawn, 6:30 a.m. till noon, with Franz Job, Prince Unique, and much more. Then kicking it old school, 6 p.m. to midnight, featuring Oscar B, Andre J. Donowa, Joe Archer, and a very special guest, K. Alan Maloney, all at Plymouth Tennis Court Car Park. This entire celebration is in support of K's medical expenses. Just $200 per event, or experience both events for only $300. Tickets are available at Barcode, Nanandez Bar, and Island E-Tickets. Events supported by Frankie Tours, Bermuda's Biscuits, Tobago Updates, Street 91.9, Radio Toco, Stone Tower Studio, Ifor Design, and Click. Plymouth Love, one community, sunrise to sunset.
Do you think you know Premier League or Champions League football? What about international cricket or the IPL and CPL? How about NBA basketball? Well, now you can put your skills to work to earn some extra cash by betting on the games with TT Bet Arena. Simply go to our website, choose a sport you want to bet on, find the games and place your bets. And with your computer or mobile device, you can bet from anywhere. Just go to ttbetarena.com, sign up for a free account, make a deposit, and start betting. It's that simple. You can even qualify for our $2,000 sign-up bonus. We also have horse racing, plus live casino games where you can bet using TT dollars. And check our new Tobago location at 7B Milford Road, Crown Point. For more info, call or WhatsApp 494-0634. TT Bet Arena, the #1 sports betting company in Trinidad and Tobago.
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
Tobago. This Labor Day, June 19th, API Music and Timeless Vibes Promotions kicks off Tobago Jazz Music and Golf Weekend 2025 with Plymouth Love, featuring Jazz at Dawn, 6:30 a.m. till noon, with Franz Job, Prince Unique, and much more. Then kicking it old school,
6 p.m. to midnight, featuring Oscar B, Andrea J. Donowa, Joe Archer, and a very special guest, K. Alan Maloney, all at Plymouth Tennis Court Car Park. This entire celebration is in support of K's medical expenses. Just $200 per event, or experience both events for only $300. Tickets are available at Barcode, Nandes Bar, and Island E-Tickets. Events supported by Frankie Tours, Bermuda's Biscuits, Tobago Updates, Street 91.9, Radio Toco, Stone Tower Studio, Eiffel Design, and Click. Plymouth Love, one community, sunrise to sunset.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, and we have in studio with us today Miss Raynell Clark, who is a member of the planning committee for the Diocesan Family Day. Yes, that's the Anglican Diocesan Family Day. Good morning and welcome to you, Miss Clark.
Good morning, Akinlabi, and thank you for having us. I know it's just me, but I am representing the Tobago region of the Anglican Church in the Diocese of Trinidad and Tobago. So thank you for having us.
Okay, so tell us about this Diocesan Family Day. This is, for me, the first time I'm hearing about it, but I suspect it has been in existence for quite some time.
Yes, quite some time. This tradition goes back well beyond the 90s. I hope I'm not putting my foot in my mouth. I know the Archdeacon Phil Isaac will call me, but I think this dates back as far as the 70s, 80s. It was felt that we're an Anglican church in Trinidad and Tobago. We normally fellowship together as parishes. So parishes, we have 4 parishes in Tobago, several in Trinidad, but the Anglican diocese is split into 4 regions. So there's the Tobago region, South region, Northwest region, and Northeast region. So whereas all the regions usually have their own family day, it was felt that we need to have a communal all of T&T family day. So that tradition started many decades ago, and it cycles. So each year another region hosts it. It just so happened that the 4-year cycle is up and Tobago is up to host it again, and we're very excited.
Oh, okay, so this will be a National Family Day.
Yes, indeed. So we have a number of parishioners from Trinidad who already have their tickets booked. Actually saw Reverend Mark Haynes, a video was posted of him yesterday with his return tickets in his hand. He said, I'm coming up, I'm ready. We expect a significant number of Anglicans to be coming to the island for that weekend. Some of them are coming for the long weekend, some just for the day. Either way, we are ready and prepared to receive them.
Okay, so you said the long weekend. So just tell us the dates for this family day.
Right, so the Diocesan Family Day of the Anglican Church will be held on the 19th of June. That's the Corpus Christi holiday. 19th of June at the Bishop's High School grounds. So not inside the school. We're actually going to be setting up on the field. We expect no less than 1,000 persons in attendance. So we have a wonderful site plan laid out. We expect our service to start at 9:30 a.m. But before that, there's praise and worship to allow persons to get into the Spirit, make room for the Holy Spirit to enter in. Our chief celebrant, of course, is our Tobago Pembroke Bishop's High School raised Right Reverend Claude Berkeley, Bishop of the Anglican Diocese in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
After that is the action, because family days are a lot about the fun, a lot about the enjoyment. There's a challenge trophy to be won. So right after the service, there's going to be a lunchtime concert. We'll be serenaded by a number of musicians. I think some dancers as well, vocalists, while we eat. And at 1 p.m., the thing gets serious. That is when we start vying for the challenge trophy. We kick off with a walk past or a dance past cultural presentation. We decided to invite a bit of a twist. Usually it's a walk past, you march left, right. But it was felt people come into Tobago, there's a certain expectation. We realize in talking to our Trinidad counterparts that some elements of Tobago heritage will be on show. So we felt, why not invite everybody into the conversation? We see ourselves in this regard as a precursor to the Tobago Heritage Festival. We're asking each region, which would be the Northwest, Northeast, and South, to deliver for us a representation of their local culture, something that's a staple in their region. Come and present it. And Tobago is presenting the Tobago Old Time Wedding. We'll be led by Ms. Karen Berkeley Charles, ably assisted by Mr. Kevon Henry of Mason Hall.
So is it that the Anglican Church in Tobago, are you all partnering with any other organizations, businesses, any kind of thing like that?
At this time, I have to say no, but I'm happy you asked, because we are inviting a call for sponsors. Of course, parishioners, we pay dues, and the Anglican Church will build up some funds over time. But these are always very costly undertakings. So we're inviting business owners who may be Anglican, if you went to an Anglican school, or if you're just interested in supporting the church, we're asking you to send an email to PMAD. That's Anglican P as in Patrick, M as in Mary, A as in Andrews, D as in David, the 4 parishes in the Tobago region, Anglican PMAD, letting us know your interest in making a contribution. Currently, we're advertising that you can place your logo, you can buy time on our live stream. The service is normally 3 hours, so you can buy time there. Or some persons have expressed interest in being placed in our program or on our promotional videos. So we are open to that. Just send us an email at anglicanpmad@gmail.com and we'll be happy to have you.
Okay, and I know this is a family and fun day, but it's also a very church function, right?
Very
and I know
church.
it's a church event, right?
Yes.
And I know you stated about the service in the morning.
Yes.
But is there any outreach aspect to the family day at all?
Not necessarily linked to the family day, but again, I'm happy you asked because there's always outreach going on in the Anglican Church. This weekend, in fact, the St. Nicholas Anglican Church, they are based in Lambo, right behind the Lambo Anglican Primary School. They are under the parish of St. Patrick's. Their Harvest Thanksgiving services on Sunday, and as a precursor to that, we've started doing mission services. So on Thursday from 6 p.m. or 5 p.m., I'm sorry, all my St. Nicholas people, either 5 or 6, come 5:30, safe time. We will be up the hill from the church. It's in the vicinity of a bar. I'm not sure of the name of the bar, but you know, we have to go out and reach everyone where they are. So that mission service kicks off the Thanksgiving celebrations. And of course, we'll be reaching out to members of the community. There are people who need assistance in one way or another. We recognize not everyone will come into the church. So we're opening up ourselves. We're coming to you. Talk to us. Everybody does to know your business. Whisper in somebody else, send a WhatsApp. We are here for you. We will help.
I know I want to get into some areas I don't know if you have the authority to speak about, but in terms of the Anglican Church, and we know that the Anglican Church in the 90s, 80s, 90s, maybe even the early 2000s was very big in Tobago.
Okay.
I don't know what the state of the Anglican Church is right now in terms of membership and that kind of thing. In your experience, have you witnessed a sort of falling away of membership, and is the Anglican Church trying to boost their membership?
The Anglican Church is always trying to boost its membership, always trying to invite new flock into the church. I am not in a position to give any reflection on what happened then versus now because I was born in the 90s, so that really was not necessarily on my radar. But from my vantage point, I have noticed a decline in youth involvement in the church. So whereas when I was growing up, now this is a small caveat, if anyone asks me where I'm from, I always say Trinidad and Tobago, and if you press me, I'll insist, because I did live my life half in Trinidad, half in Tobago. And while I was going to primary school, every Christmas, Easter, July, August, for the full duration of the vacation, my brother and I and our cousins were sent to Tobago. So we went the full 9 yards, going to church, goat and crab race, etc., harvest in Tobago. And there were several other children around who we could play with, but we realized, or I realized, that as I matured, some of those children have disappeared from the church. I myself was one of those children who in my younger adult life disappeared from the church because, make no mistake, anything worth having does not come easy, and so too is the Christian walk, or if you're not Christian, whatever is your religious denomination you subscribe to, your views, it's a difficult journey to walk, and sometimes questions come into our minds that generational gaps may cause some tension when you try to broach it, because someone who's come from a certain time with a certain belief structure, you asking something that might be out of tune to them, you written off immediately, you know. So we recognize that there are challenges as responsibilities pass from generation to generation, as ideology and doctrine is communicated from generation to generation. And one of the things we are doing is trying to get, again, more youth members, and that doesn't necessarily mean teens or 20s, but even if you're in your 40s, you could still be considered youth, 50s, depending on your role. We are trying to have more open conversations, invite people to have a chat. I invite anyone to have a chat with me, because anyone who knows me personally will know that I have had a very interesting journey, and what role the church plays to me at this time is a community pillar. I say that, you know, my service to the church is not just about my faith walk, but it's where my family was nurtured. So for me, I have a different sense of duty to the church, but for someone who may not, we are here to talk, to encourage you, and to invite you to come into the Anglican Church and fellowship with us.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Clark. So before we wrap up, just give us one final plug for the Diocesan Family Day.
Okay, I want to look at a camera because this plug
right
is not for this one.
Right here.
Right, this plug is for all the members of the Anglican Church in the Tobago region. We are presenting the Tobago Old Time Wedding as our walk past, dance past cultural presentation. Of course, we're vying for the challenge trophy. Now, we need a minimum of 20 people to participate. But how? Tobago go host the Regional Family Day, and we do have about 60, 80, 90 people in the old time wedding. So we're encouraging people to come down, walk with us, dance with us. I went last week, and I am hooked. I'm on the planning committee, and I say no, I have to make the sacrifice to walk this wedding because it's fun. If you ever had dreams of being in the wedding party, come down. We'll be at the Dwight York Stadium, outside the stadium on the training ground side, which is closest to the Bacalet Health Center, tomorrow, Wednesday afternoon from 5, and Thursday. This is literally the last call because we have to get fitted, and Auntie Karen is not accepting anybody after tomorrow and Thursday because you wouldn't know the steps anyway. So please come out, come out, come out. We want about 80 people in the wedding party. And if you all would oblige us and play the audio if you can, whether it's after the interview, we'd appreciate it because this is part of our outreach as well to allow persons from the different parishes to mingle. Because St. Mary, you're quite in the east. St. David, you might be on the north side. St. Andrews, Yentong, Mason Hall, etc. And we don't necessarily always converge in a recreational setting. So we're encouraging people to come out so we could increase, we could strengthen our outreach and strengthen our inter-parish bonds as well.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Rena Clark, committee member from the planning committee for the Anglican Diocesan Family Day. So ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have for the Tobago Updates morning show. So we wrap up our program here. But before we go back to our photo of the day. And we're going to reveal the answer. This photo was taken is a photo of the Coast Guard base at the Scarborough Port. Yes, that's the Coast Guard base there at the Scarborough Port. I think most persons would have gotten that because the view is pretty iconic. It's very easily recognizable. But this is a photo of the Coast Guard base at the Scarborough Port, and it was sent in to us by Sergeant Emmanuel York. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, so that's all we have for the Tobago Updates morning show. But our programming doesn't end there. We go on to GMT. So do us a favor, share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll see you tomorrow.
So this is a breakaway.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Just start a dance.
And we're looking for more people to participate. The Tobago region is hosting this year's Diocesan Family Day. So you know that wedding at a large. So here we are. Meet me by the Dwight York Stadium on the training ground side closer to the Bacalet Health Center. Last call, Wednesday 11th and Thursday 12th of this week, we practicing. We only need about 20 people, but Auntie Karen says she was about 80 in the wedding man. So come now, let we dance. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Today I learned about how jobs are back, how when you show lungs you can get cancer. I learned what marijuana and drugs can do. It can make you go to jail, it can make you bleed very, very fast, and it can give you lung cancer.
My name is Sherman Joy Charles, and I am a Behavioral Services Officer with the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Prevention Program under the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection. So we are here to commemorate World No Tobacco Day, which is celebrated annually on May the 31st. And today we have our annual Clean Air Fair, where we target Standard 5 students throughout Tobago. This morning we are targeting the Standard 5 students from the Mason Hall, Moriah, Kasara and Palsurier schools. And so we're just here to educate them on the impact of tobacco use and to give them the necessary skills that they may need to resist tobacco use. The theme for this year's initiative is actually unmasking the appeal to tobacco products. And we realize that a lot of students are now experimenting not so much with cigarettes, but more so with vapes, particularly students in the secondary school. And so this initiative was ready to capture the Standard 5 students before they get out into that high school environment where the pressure to use tobacco may increase. This was really an initiative that was born through our previous manager, Mrs. Billy Sterling Lewis, and it's just to really get the information out there to the students, really to have that intervention at an early age so that as they grow through adolescence that they can make healthy choices regarding not just tobacco use but healthy choices regarding their lifestyle. So what we want to take home is, one, tobacco use is not something that they should get involved with. There are no positive effects. So that's the first thing you want them to understand. And secondly, we want them to understand that it's okay to say no. A lot of children are experimenting because they don't know how to say no. They don't know how to resist peer pressure. So that's the second thing we want them to do. And we want them to be those persons that could go out into their schools and make a positive impact. Those persons who can mentor their own peers and give them the information that they would have received when it comes to tobacco. We want to really promote a tobacco-free Tobago, and so we want all hands on deck. It's not just the school's responsibility, it's not just adult responsibility, but we want to make sure that message is heard at home and also within the community spaces.
The Tobago Fashion First event was conceptualized in 2024 by the Tobago Day Planning Committee. We wanted to introduce a new event into the calendar while at the same time creating something of real substance. We also aimed to create a platform for Tobago's immensely talented designers. Welcome to Tobago Fashion First, and enjoy Tobago's Fashion First.
This event was designed as a launch platform for our fashion industry, a space to bring to light the remarkable talent and creativity of Tobago's designers, to place their names and brands into the public spotlight, and to say to the world, Tobago has what it takes. The opulence we witness tonight is all Tobago, by Tobagonians, for the world. Our designers and models are not simply participants in the fashion industry, they are contenders. And with the right support, they can stand proudly among and even rival the most celebrated figures in the global fashion scene. Tonight is a statement. Tobago is here. We are bold. We are brilliant and we are ready to take our place on the world stage.
When the mountains rise before me, I believe I can feel it on. I will follow the path if you lead me. Just don't let go. If I promise you feel it always, tell me why you had to lie. I would hold on to it forever. You need to try and never be the same. I'm sorry, feeling alone. And always be lonely on your own. Just say I'm sorry. Just say I'm sorry. Just say I'm sorry. Just say I'm sorry. When a moonlit sky surrounds me, I believe I can see your light. I will reach for riches, guide me, hold me tight. If I promise you'll feel it only, show me how to make this right. I will pave the way, feeling lonely through the night.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Celebrating anniversaries is important to fostering connections and acknowledging growth and shared experiences, as well as setting a foundation for future goals and aspirations. Around the region, they are known as the leading disaster management agency. Here in Tobago, we call them TIMA, and they recently celebrated their 27th anniversary. One activity was a health and wellness day.
We are accustomed doing stuff like this with every institution that require our service. Here today we are here to assist with the staff of TIMA in ensuring that they maintain their health and the importance of health, importance of knowing your numbers in terms of your blood pressure, your sugar, your weight, your BMI, to make sure it is in line with your height and your weight. The importance of checking your blood pressure is to ensure that you don't end up with stuff like a diagnosis with like heart attack or stroke. Also, that could also help us to send you also to the health center to do blood testing for stuff like your cholesterol and other blood work, so that we could determine if you are newly diagnosed or if you have been seen about your health. So we have the blood pressure testing, we have the sugar testing, we have the dietitians here who would do your weight, your BMI, and tell you how much body fat there is. We also have dental here to take care of the mouth, which is also important because of the bacteria and stuff that can cause different diseases to your organs and stuff like that.
TIMA workers share their love, experiences, and appreciation for their job.
Today for the staff, we are having a health and wellness program to commemorate our 27th year anniversary here at TIMA.
I am the GIS specialist at TIMA, so that's the Geographic Information System person. We deal with mapping as well as evacuation routes, evacuation maps, data elevation models, risk assessments, etc. I'm also attached to the planning department, so we do a lot of analysis as well as gap analysis as well as reports. So we basically are the brains somewhat of the organization. For me, my time here during this period would have been very great for me. Would have been able to respond to the oil spill as well as Tropical Storm Karen as well as other emergencies. This would have given you a lot of knowledge as well as wisdom in terms of how natural disasters actually operate, because reading about it is one thing, but actually being able to assist persons as well as to respond to it is something different. So it comes like you learn the theory, and then have to do the practical aspect of it. Life here is really great. It's a family environment. Yes, we may have our disagreements, but it's a high pressure environment, but we always have the ability to bounce back from or whatever would have impacted us, and that shows a lot of resilience within the organization. So cheers to 27 years.
TIMA's mission is to coordinate a network of agencies and individuals within the island of Tobago to direct their efforts to maximize preservation of life and the protection of the property in times of disaster.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
To mainly focus on disease of cocoa. Black pod and witch's broom are currently in Trinidad and Tobago, and we're going to give some sensitization about frosty pod, which is a disease that's in the region that could have devastating impacts to the cocoa industry. The reason why these are so problematic, they affect the economic part. It doesn't necessarily kill the tree, but it makes the farmers feel less productive.
Today, the focus is on identifying the diseases of cocoa towards rehabilitation and restoration of the cocoa. So, as you know, we have one of the finest cocoa in Trinidad and Tobago, and we don't want to lose that genetic stock, and therefore this particular training today is for that.
I believe it's important to renew your information and to be up to date with what is taking place. And we learned that the frosty pod disease is just in our neighboring Venezuela, so we have to be on the lookout for that particular disease and to know what to do in the event that it gets there.
So this workshop or training will help facilitate, refreshing the knowledge that officers have and putting things in place so we can get these cocoa estates back up and running, back up at production, optimal production at that.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix. And whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. This morning, we are talking about all that's happening with the blind and the blind welfare. This morning, I have the privilege of being in studio this time around with Mr. Kenneth Surratt, who is the Executive Officer of the Blind Welfare Association, as well as Mr. Ryan Ragu, who is the president of the association. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you. We are very happy to be here.
All right,
And
so
good
tell
morning
me
to
what,
Tobago also. Yeah.
what brings you guys to Tobago
Good, I'm
this
sorry.
morning?
Well, we are in Tobago for three main reasons. One is that we recently got a deed of lease for property in Tobago at Bacalot Street. And right now the association is in the preparatory stage where we are getting all the designs and surveys and all the technical work done, so that pretty soon we are hoping within 3 months or so we will be able to come up with designs and so on, where we are going to really be able to present a plan for the construction of a new building for the first time in Tobago. That is going to be our building, our property. And this will bring a sense of satisfaction, a sense of joy and happiness to our clients and the public by extension in Tobago, because we will be having our own facility where we are going to conduct our programs and services that we are offering to the clientele, the visually impaired community clientele in Tobago. So we are very excited about that, and we are also here to offer training program services to the Tobago Regional Health Authority with their front staff and so on, so that whenever they have to accommodate a client who is blind or visually impaired, they will be trained how to work with that client, how to communicate, how to navigate and so on with that client that will be visiting their various health centers, hospitals and so on for service. We think this is very, very important, because people who would be accessing those facilities will already have some problem or so on, and we want that the service that the Tobago Regional Health Authority is offering is the best and so on, so that our clients and so on can get the optimal quality service from these the TRHA health people and personnel, their front staff, receptionists, etc.
Right, excellent. And I am guessing that this building would be constructed specifically, targeted at persons with disabilities, not just persons that are blind, but especially as it pertains to accessibility. When it comes to building, you don't see persons always considering accessibility for persons with disability. And, now that we are in 2025, you would think that whenever someone is building, they always make sure that that building is accessible to all. How important is that in the construction of this new building, even as you offer the services?
Okay, accessibility is a big ticket item on our agenda, but we want to remove, I want to call it a myth, that when you talk accessibility, you mean putting in a ramp. Yes, we're going to have ramps and so on. Yes, that will be able to accommodate persons on wheelchair. The Blind Welfare Association, when you speak about persons who are blind or visually impaired, our need of accessibility is different. Like, for instance, color contrast. Color contrast is where the low vision person, you wouldn't take a yellow railing and put it against a yellow wall. That is very difficult for someone who is partially or visually impaired to access. Let's say a door. You wouldn't have a door the same color of the wall. So we want to build it into good architecture and good color contrast, and it doesn't take away from the aesthetics of the place, where the low vision person could access the facility properly. Someone who is totally blind needs tactile surfaces. So when you use your cane, like if I use my cane and I touch it on a grassy surface, the response I get from the cane is different to when I touch it on a hard surface. So you could use roughness, color contrast, different texture. So we create that level of accessibility for persons who are blind or visually impaired. We're talking about lighting. We also want to have a building that is sustainable. It must meet the needs of, probably we might have a green top where we could reduce the use for air conditioning, so you don't have to run your air conditioner right through. The building might be a cool building. So how do we use the building efficiently, and not only with accessibility, but to impact and have a good footprint on the environment?
Excellent. And when we talk about some of the services that you will be offering, expand a bit on that for us.
Okay, we have our core thing is Braille. Braille is number one. We promote Braille and tactile learning. Braille is one aspect where you can use a means of reading and so on, but we also like raise print. When I travel throughout the world and I have to find my hotel room on my own independently. There's Braille signage by the door, but also the print is raised. Sometimes somebody may not know Braille, but if you go blind late in life, you probably could still feel a raised printed letter or a raised printed number and could identify. So that is what we call tactile learning. So Braille and tactile learning, also 3D imaging, because what we believe in, say a child who born blind from birth, we need to have miniature items like say our famous buildings and so on, so that they could touch and identify it. So tactile learning is a big ticket item for us. Using technology and artificial intelligence, that is another big item where we train our clients how to use smartphones, smart devices, computers and so on. We're moving into the realm of where you're commanding devices with speech, and more you see that is happening through AI, where you don't have to learn no command or click no mouse. You could have a conversation because of AI and large language model learning. What that does, you don't need to have no fancy skill set. You could carry on a conversation with your AI independently, safe, and with the highest level of security. And there's a part of us that at Blind Welfare we focus on that is called low-tech training. We believe that every blind person should not depend on technology all the time. Develop your sense of hearing, smell, taste, touch. That remaining 4 senses that you have, we want you to master it, develop it, make sure it is working optimal, because you sometimes in the worst time where you really needed most of technology, it fails you. You should always be able to go back to basic and function independently and function safely.
Right. And Mr. Ragu, do you already have the funding needed to erect this building, or are you in Tobago soliciting funding?
Well, no, we don't have the funding, because this is going to be a couple $1 million, of course, and we plan to well, in the first instance, liaise with the THA to see what assistance they can offer, whether it may be doing some of the technical work and so on. But what we really plan to do is to approach central government via the PSIP that is presented annually in the budget statement. If we can get this project to fall under that program, so that the central government will be able to fund the project first, because we are talking of a few $1 million, which we really don't have at this time. Of course, in addition to that, we will be calling on corporate Trinidad and Tobago and ordinary citizens. We'll be launching a massive fundraising effort to help us fund the construction of this building. We'll be doing it via our banks and so on. So when that information and we are ready and is available, it will be made public. But we would want to alert the national community to be on standby, because it is coming and we really need the national support. Every citizen, every business, every NGO, Trinidad and Tobago can make a contribution. We really would want this to happen as quick as possible. And this is going to add value not only to the association, but Tobago in terms of the services and so on, in terms of bringing the Tobago clientele, leveling that playing field and giving them those opportunities for human development. And in sociology and so on, the human capital is very, very important, that we have a holistic approach towards development. And we are saying this is going to provide an opportunity for our clients in Tobago to really come on board and benefit from all the programs and services that will be offered in that building. So again, we want to put Trinidad and Tobago on alert, that get ready. We'll be coming to you again with that information, and we need all the support that we can get to have this building up and running as soon as possible.
Excellent.
What we also want, we want this building to be an example. If somebody want to know what is an accessible building, a sustainable building, and an environmentally friendly building, we are saying come to the Blind Welfare building, and you will see an example how we could transform Tobago by having an example what a truly accessible and sustainable building this is.
Mr. Ragu, you said that you will be training with the Division of Health and Social Wellness today, allowing them to understand some of the core principles of interacting with persons that are a part of the blind community. Can you tell us, some of the things that those persons will be able to look forward to in that training? What are some of the core principles when it comes to interacting with blind persons?
Well, communication, of course, is very, very important. How you communicate, if one of our clients are coming to the hospital or health center for service, communication is very important, that you you communicate with the client. Of course, we're going to have some orientation training in how you would lead a blind person. They may have to move around the facility and so on. There's techniques how you hold that person, how you teach them to move around and so on. We have our welfare officers who are skilled and trained in this field, and they will be providing those training as we speak now at some of the health facilities here in Tobago. It is not very difficult. It's simple, basic stuff, but it is important that that the staff at these regional health authorities and so on have that training, because as I said before, when somebody is ill and so on and they come for service, they want a level of training, that service that, you know, at least that their dignity and so on is intact, and you don't create further problems for them in addition to whatever problem they may be experiencing at that particular time.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, but what you say, for instance, like giving direction. We like to we'll break the task down into small bits and pieces. So the person who is blind comes up to the counter or come for assistance. The first person they may meet might be the security guard. How does that security guard make sure that he communicates with that person who's blind? Because in your voice, someone who is blind could detect fear or concern or pleased to provide a service. So we are saying, once you are sensitive and you are confident, as maybe the first person you meet is the security guard, how does the security guard point you to the other direction or get to another space? When you meet that person by the counter, how would you take someone who is blind and let them have a seat by, say, putting your hand at the back of the seat so the person who is blind will know where to sit, or walk and let their knee touch the chair so they know where to sit and be comfortable? How you communicate with proper, you wouldn't say, come here, or you will be clear, Mr. Ragu, could you, come to me? So how do you give specific instruction? How you use side guide technique, for instance, holding someone's elbow and walking. So if you are going through a narrow space, you take your hand and put it behind your back, so the person who is blind will know we are going through a narrow space, I could gently get behind you. So the person who is blind, when you are walking with someone, I walk a half step behind, so I could know when you are going up a stairs or going down a flight of stairs. So those are some of the techniques we will be training the staff. And what we want to overcome, the United Nations did a situation analysis in Trinidad, and the big item is people's attitude to persons with disabilities. If we could change people's attitude towards persons with disability, give them that level of respect, I am almost certain 90% of the work is completed. Because once we could change people's mind and people thinking, it will change how they respond to us as persons with disabilities.
Okay, I mean, well, just by seeing how you guys are operating, the fact that you're running the Blind Welfare Association, you're here in Tobago, you are embarking on these projects, you're leading workshops and lectures to sensitize the public, it shows that persons with disability, particularly blindness, are still able to function at maximum capacity within the society. And so, I'm extremely impressed, because this is something that I've never really seen someone who is blind be so active within the society. Not just as an advocate, but to be so independent.
Yeah. We always believe, if we change your attitude or your thinking about us, you will no longer be surprised or anything. You will expect us to behave. You will expect us to operate at our fullest optimum. When you see someone who is blind and they're not striving to be the best, you'll say, what's wrong? You will be more focused on that person. You can do better, because, in your mind, you believe persons who are blind can do better. Persons who are blind could contribute to Trinidad and Tobago to make this a better place for all of us.
Just to add, we believe, and in fact, we know that generally speaking, members of the public, they're sometimes skeptical, not because they want to be like that, but sometimes they just do not have the information readily available. And that is why the information is so important in terms of influencing your thinking and your attitude. And that is why we are always embarking on these opportunities to share information via the media as to how we communicate, how we relate, and so on. So it will impact your attitude in a very positive way. So we understand, but we of course will be all the time stressing that you need to have that information. So when you have the knowledge and so on, your thinking and your whole attitude will be different.
Also, the Blind Welfare is the only organization for the disabled that run, the president is blind and the executive officer is blind. And we believe in a principle, nothing about us without us. And we are encouraging other organizations for the disabled, run your own organization. Don't let other people take it over.
Excellent. Well, is there anything you guys want to say before we close off our conversation this morning?
We want to say thank you very much. Well, I want to say thank you very much for this opportunity. And the Tobago media has been very, very supportive to the Blind Welfare Association. And you will always be in our thoughts and in our presence as we move forward to give a greater and a better life for persons with disabilities, in particular persons who are blind, to live independent and joyful lives. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Anything from you, President?
Of course, I would want to say thank you to the station for having us this morning. And again, just to reiterate that Tobago, there's a lot of untapped resources in Tobago. And we believe that our community can add value even to the tourist product. So we are looking forward with great enthusiasm that when our program and services and the building is up and running, through the training that we'll be providing there, etc., that we will be able to add value to the tourism product that Tobago offers to the international community. And we want to say thanks so very, very much for the opportunity. And we look forward for these exciting things that are going to happen in the near future.
Excellent. Well, guys, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back right after this. See you soon.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning.
Tobago. This Labor Day, June 19th, API Music and Timeless Vibes Promotions kicks off Tobago Jazz Music and Golf Weekend 2025 with Plymouth Love, featuring Jazz at Dawn, 6:30 a.m. till noon, with Franz Job, Prince Unique, and much more. Then kicking it old school, 6 p.m. to midnight, featuring Oscar B, Andre J. Donowa, Joe Archer, and a very special guest, K. Alan Maloney, all at Plymouth Tennis Court Car Park. This entire celebration is in support of K's medical expenses. Just $200 per event, or experience both events for only $300. Tickets are available at Barcode, Nandes Bar, and Island E-Tickets. Events supported by Frankie Tours, Bermuda's Biscuits, Tobago Updates, Street 91.9, Radio Toco, Stone Tower Studio, Eye for Design, and Click. Plymouth Love, one community, sunrise to sunset.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
Do you think you know Premier League or Champions League football? What about international cricket or the IPL and CPL? How about NBA basketball? Well, now you can put your skills to work to earn some extra cash by betting on the games with TT Bet Arena. Simply go to our website, choose a sport you want to bet on, find the games and place your bets. And with your computer or mobile device, you can bet from anywhere. Just go to ttbetarena.com, sign up for a free account, make a deposit, and start betting. It's that simple. You can even qualify for our $2,000 sign-up bonus. We also have horse racing, plus live casino games where you can bet using TT dollars. And check our new Tobago location at 7B Milford Road, Crown Point. For more info, call or WhatsApp 494-0634. TT Bet Arena, the #1 sports betting company in Trinidad and Tobago.
Tobago, this is your chance to lock in the brunch experience of the summer. Sun up.
Real bad girl, get nasty.
The brunch inclusive edition, the ultimate party in the East, where vibrant flavors, refreshing cocktails, and electrifying vibes collide. It's happening on Saturday, July 5th from 3 p.m. at Deltec Compound, Argyle. Bring your coolers, bring your crew, and brunch, sip, and vibe in style. This is the flavorful escape you've been waiting for. Grab your tickets now at Barcode, Pablo Supermarket, Lost Restaurant and Lounge, Deltec Compound, and committee members. Sun up! It's more than a brunch, it's an experience.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
This year, Bishop's High School Tobago celebrates its 100th anniversary. 100 years of shaping leaders, visionaries, and change makers. On Saturday, June 14th, 6 p.m. at Bishop's High School, the BHS Centennial Committee presents Men in Leadership, a live national forum with 4 distinguished Bishopians in a powerful dialogue discussing law, politics, religion, and national leadership. Moderated by award-winning journalist and Bishopian Ira Mathur. Join the conversation. Sign up for free at bishopstobago100.com or on Facebook. Watch it live, online. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago, right here on Tobago Updates. Well, guys, you already knew that the Bishop's High School has been celebrating for a while now. It's 100 years of celebration. It's a Centennial Committee. Members are here this morning, and we have the privilege of chatting in studio with Mr. Whitfield Turner as well as Kimari Richardson Thomas. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
As I was saying before we went live, it seems that Bishops has been celebrating this 100 years forever. Tell us a bit about what has been happening.
All right. So I'm glad that it feels as if we've been celebrating forever, because the reality is, and I think one of the things we aim to do, is to make sure that persons are aware that it's happening. We launched the celebration last year, September 14th, leading up to, that's September 14, 2024, to lead up to September 14, 2025. It is 100 years to celebrate the only school in the nation to have produced as many leaders as we have, had as many as we've produced, presidents, prime ministers, chief secretaries, chief justices, leaders. And it's also the first, Bishop's High School, Tobago, is the first co-educational school in the nation. So in order to celebrate some of these achievements, it requires a big level of celebration. So on September 14th this year, we will mark our 100th anniversary, but we marked our 100 days to 100 years last week, Friday on the 6th, so that we're leading up to it. And we've been having a series of activities, and there are a lot more to come that will all culminate on September 14th with the 100 years.
Right. And one of those activities happened to be the recognition of 4 prominent men in leadership that came out of the Bishop's High School. Tell us a bit about that.
Right. So this coming Saturday evening, we are going to be recognizing and essentially celebrating 4 of the countless illustrious sons of the soil that we have produced as Bishop's High School over the years. We're going to be celebrating the former Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley. We'll be having Chief Secretary Farley Chavez Augustine, our Bishop, Right Reverend Claude Berkeley, who was also my form master during my time at school. And we also have the Chief Justice, Ivor Archie, himself, alumni of the school as well. So we're going to be chatting with them. We're going to be going down memory lane a bit, reminiscing of some of the experiences they would have had during their time at Bishop's High School from the 70s all the way up to the early part of this century. And essentially giving them an opportunity to say thanks and to show to the community that we can still produce good men of leadership caliber even in 2025, because we know with the society the way it is, finding men of a certain caliber can pose a challenge. But this is saying, hey, it is still possible. And the timing of it as well is not lost on us. It was deliberately put to coincide with Father's Day weekend.
Okay. Right. And when we talk about who is invited to the ceremony, is it for students, past students, who can attend?
Well, it's open to the public, but we're asking for persons to call the alumni, to call the Centennial office if you're intending to be there, because we don't have a lot of space. But because we really want to ensure that we traverse various generations, the school has already sent out their invitations to have students from each class, 10 students from each form class will be there, along with members of their student councils, their prefects, those budding leaders, the school leaders, those students who've already begun to embark on leadership, they will be there. And as you indicated, members of the public can call the Centennial office at 260-2025, 260-2025, and indicate if you want to be there, because it's a phenomenal event that's going to be taking place on Saturday at Bishop's High School. And we know that persons would like to attend, but we'd also want to ensure that people are comfortable and that persons wouldn't be standing up. So call first, let us know so we can cater for you adequately.
Right. And so tell us a bit about the time that the event is starting, what pathway can persons take to get to the venue?
Okay. Well, it's going to be at the Bowles Hall, which is sort of like the meeting place for all things Bishopian on the school compound. So, and if you've been to Bishop's High School, you know the size of the auditorium. So that's one of the reasons why we're asking persons to essentially RSVP so that we could adequately cater for persons who are going to be there. The entrance right now is on the extreme lower end of the school. There's parking available there. So persons would come there and the security would guide them in terms of parking and so forth, and they'll be escorted up to the hall where they can take part in the activity.
Right.
It's also going to be streamed as well.
Excellent. And would there be open bar? Would there be food? Do persons walk with their food? Can they purchase at the venues?
Persons should eat before they leave home.
Okay.
They should eat before they leave home and eat again when they get back home.
Okay.
Right? When we start at 6 p.m. on Saturday, the idea really is to give these four illustrious gentlemen an opportunity to share. The moderator would be world-renowned journalist Ira Mathuru, who's also an alumni of Bishop's High School, and she would be moderating. Persons can submit questions beforehand. They can submit questions on the day, at the event, in writing, and it will be passed on to the moderator so that the moderator will be managing those questions. But there's also, we're expecting it to be live streamed, so persons who are on the social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook, they can submit questions there on the day, and those questions would also be facilitated, filtered through, so that the moderator will be able to share them with our guests.
Right, and you said the event starts promptly at 6.
6.
How important is it for persons to be on time?
Well, again, because Whitfield explained the size of Bowles Hall, and because, you see, this event, this entire event, we keep speaking about the fact that Bishop's history is Tobago's legacy. This is not exclusive to Bishopians. This is for the entire population of Tobago, and by extension, Trinidad, anyone who can make it on the day. Take the boat, fly, get a plane, come here, come. But the hall cannot accommodate everyone. So if you come late, if you didn't indicate you were coming, you may find yourself standing, because again, we really want to accommodate people as comfortably as possible. So come on time so we can start on time and have a filled Bowles Hall to have the full impact of the event.
And of course, timeliness has always been one of the things that were drilled into us as Bishopians over the years, the importance of being on time for whatever event it may be. So in keeping with that, we expect persons to be there and to be there on time. Remember, this is not just about the school, it's also about the island. And just to slip one thing in that many persons may not be aware of, you can't separate Bishop's High School from the issue of the wider issue of Tobago's autonomy, because that's where it all started. If you want to know more, follow us and you'll get the full history as we go through the rest of the celebrations. But that in itself is, as it were, an entire story to be told, some of which may come out on the night itself, but yes.
So are you saying that autonomy conversations started at Bishop's?
The founding of the school led to it being put on the table, as it were, and with James Bigart and then later APT James and so forth. But as I said, that's a whole story to be told, and I'm not sure we have the time to get into that this morning. So when we get there, and as we go through the rest of these celebrations, we have a number of other activities coming up that would feature in from time to time, so that some of the lesser known aspects of the history of the school can now be brought to the fore, so persons can realize the full impact of the school, which may transcend just those persons who might have held high office in the country over the years, because we're talking about these four gentlemen, but there are many more that we can talk about. And then we also have the women in leadership as well that we're going to be dealing with. I think it's somewhere in October. So it's a lot. Of course, we have athletes as well, literary persons, so many that if we were to list all the illustrious persons coming out of Bishop's High School, the time here would run out and we'll just be getting started.
Right. And I know Ivy League universities like Harvard University, they often have those books, those directories, where you could go through each year and see the persons that graduated and their contact information. Seeing that Bishops has such rich history of leadership, network, alumni, and, just that community and families, that's something that you would, possibly explore.
It's being worked on.
Yeah.
The information is being collated. And again, especially because the history is so rich, the alumni is so diverse, that's something that's being worked on.
Yeah, so we've been asking the different year groups to basically collate the information for their particular year group and then pass it on to the core committee so that we could develop that same thing that you're talking about, because it's essentially also a skills bank, so we know who to call on when we need what sort of services. And given the wide time span that we're talking about, it's going to take some work, especially since we're talking now of digitizing things that were in paper from years gone by, and now if you handle them too hard, it will just come apart in your hands. So all of these things are going to take some time to get them sorted out, but it's definitely something we want to do, because when we get to the 200th anniversary, we want to have all this history there that persons, including all of Tobago, can look back on. It should be a place where persons can go to, a research avenue as well, to gain information to guide them going forward. So it's definitely something that forms part of all the plans we have going forward.
Right. And Mrs. Thomas, is there anything that you want to say to our viewers this morning to ensure that they come out and participate and be a part of this on Saturday?
Definitely. This is an historic event. Even when we look at the 100th year celebration that we're talking about, where most of us would not be alive to see another 100. But to have these four illustrious gentlemen in one space at one time, to be part of that would be to enrich your own life, your own history. It's an opportunity to hear them talk about leadership, and it's the type of leadership that they learned. And this is why the event is actually called From These Hallowed Halls. These men were birthed, their leadership ability was birthed there. It's not a political event, but it's an opportunity to hear from them and to be able to receive information that we can impart on our own children going forward. Because again, as Whitfield indicated earlier, finding men today with these types of leadership ability, men who are fathers, and leading countries, leading islands, leading in law, leading in religion, leading. It really is an opportunity. And we want to encourage all of Tobago. Call first. Call first. But come out, because it's going to be a historical event, and it's always a good idea to be part of unfolding history.
Especially the men.
Yes.
Especially the men.
Yes.
Well, we want to thank you so much for representing the Bishop Centennial Committee here this morning, and we want to wish you the best with all your activities moving forward as you are currently celebrating a 100-day countdown to 100 years celebration. Guys, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussions. We want to thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am your host, Chanel Felix, and have a great day.